Hey guys, Dan here, D Speed Shop, tow truck stuff. So, a couple or 3 weeks ago, we put this 1-ton Chevy together. And I've wanted a truck like this forever. And I managed to scrounge some stuff and find a bunch of things around like Facebook Marketplace, and it all kind of worked out for me. And ultimately, there was people had a lot of questions about it, and I didn't quite get it finished to the exact level I want, so I thought we would go ahead and take a minute, answer a few questions, address a few things, and then finish this thing so it's working properly. Now, a lot of people, I guess, were confused as to why I wanted this set up. The number one thing is get a trailer. I hear you. And you know what? In a lot of ways, a trailer is a for sure better way for you maybe, but this is what I think is best for me. So yeah, like a tilt deck trailer with a winch, you can tow whatever the heck you want on there, whether it has wheels or frame or body, it don't matter. You're getting her home, right? And I agree. And I have friends with trailers, I can rent a trailer. This thing will tow any trailer you want. I mean, it's got, you know, the hitch mount and all that, 1-ton deal, we can do that. For me, space is always a problem. I don't want to take up a parking spot at home with a trailer, and I sure as heck don't want to have it in a storage unit where I have to drive 20 minutes out to get the trailer. Inevitably, it'll have flat tire, bad wiring, the winch isn't working, whatever it may be, and then I got to go maybe the other direction, get the car, drop it off, and then do that process again. Whereas this, I can use as a daily driver. I drive this truck all over the place. So if a trailer is good for you, right on. This is what's best for me. Another common one, people are saying, the boom was cool and all that, and you know, towed better maybe, and it put the weight in a different spot, and you know what, you're right. I have been using it. The boom was definitely, well, I wouldn't say it was nicer, it's about the same. But what the boom did, you lose all this valuable space, which as you can see, we're using. The whole reason I wanted the under reach lift was to get my space back. The whole point of having an 8-foot bed is to fill it full of crap, and I'm good at that. So another reason I wanted that, that was kind of the big two, I guess, that people were asking. A lot of people asked about these underreach units and all that. Just Google repo lift or something along those lines, or auto loader, and you know, there's all sorts of information. You can go from there. Now, for the few commenters who just couldn't seem to let it go, the way I did it, was it right? Well, no. In a lot of ways, I'm learning my lessons. Did I wire it properly? No. That's fine. Did I install it to your level? No, I did the way I wanted to, and the research I had done. Now, I think at the end of the day, what people have to realize is you don't know what you don't know. Now, I'm not claiming, I never have, to be an expert at friggin' anything. I'm well versed, I guess, at a lot of stuff. You know, Tri-5 Chevrolet, something like that. I think I would know a fair bit about them. Now, I don't know the people that know the VIN number and the doodads for the trim tag and how many they made. I don't care about any of that crap. But how the car goes together and comes apart, I know that pretty well. And I've never done a tow truck. I've never done an underlift. I've never done any of that stuff before. I bought this unit for $2 grand off the internet with no instructions, no hydraulic motor, no reservoir, no nothing, and I figured it out and got it working. Now, clearly, maybe it was wired improperly and stuff like that, and I'll get to the bottom of it. And a lot of people were super supportive in the comments. You know, hey, do this, hey, do that, hey, look over here, and all those things. And those people were great. But some of the people, I assume they're in their mother's basement, you know, hard to watch, this and that. You know what, man, at the end of the day, I am in a unique situation where I appreciate every single one of you guys that watch, and it's afforded me to screw things up and put it out on the internet. And hopefully that lets you guys get out there and try stuff as well. You know what? You're never going to be the best the first time you do something. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have kids and stuff like that. You know what? The first Christmas recital or the first time playing the trombone or whatever, probably pretty hard to watch. But some of those kids really go on to accomplish something and do really well at it, and that is ultimately what this channel is kind of all about. Definitely, if you're using this as an instructional video, I've said that before, buyer beware, don't ever do that, all those things. We're just trying to have a good time and ultimately build the truck I want. And for some reason you guys want to be along for the ride, which I appreciate that. So now again, the truck we have, 1 ton gas. Why is it a gas, not a diesel? I park it outside, 40 below, on the street. I didn't want to screw around with any sort of diesel stuff. You know, regular cab, long bed, it's only me and Danielle. There's only the 2 of us ever. I don't need an extended cab for stuff like that. I wanted to have as much payload as possible for hauling around exactly what is in the back of this thing. So I guess what I'm saying, and you guys got to be it for yourself, what's best for me, or I think is best for me, because this very well may not be. It doesn't mean it has to be the best for you or anybody else. And I think you got to take kind of a long, hard look and realize what is the plan, and you know, spend your money wisely, which I think I have done here. I sold the old wrecker out of it, and I carried on from there, and I'm ultimately into this thing for $1,500, and I get the bed back, which is really my end goal. So that's that. Now, what we're going to work on today, you know what, we'll just put you in the tripod here. I'll show you a few things. I ran out of time, and honestly, that video was a little on the longer side. These underlift deals, I mean, this unit right here is brand new. You can still go buy it right now as we speak for like $12,000. Have someone else put it in for you, and go from there. I had a buddy of mine want this exact lift, and they quoted him like 20 grand Canadian by the time it was in his truck. So I'm happy with my purchase. Now, hang on. What I did order is I got a universal set of overload springs. If I can get them out of the friggin' box. Now what these are gonna do is actually go on top of the spring pack. They have a goofy shape that looks like you get one out. So they're actually gonna fit on top, bolt around, bolt down that way. I'll show you how to do it real quick, and they'll add more overload. There's a bunch of different ways to do that. A lot of people are saying airbags. I'll figure I'll address that real quick as well. Again, I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know a lot. But what I did when I was building this setup and this truck was I looked around and I asked people who did know. I got a good buddy, Dallas. He runs a tow truck. He knows a lot. I wouldn't say I followed his advice to a T, but I definitely used a lot of it. Detroit Wrecker is a huge outfit that does this, and ultimately, you know what they do is they put out YouTube videos and a lot of content. So for a guy like me, it's easy to watch. So I watched what they did. The unit I got was a lift and tow. I looked at their stuff. There's other YouTubers out there, Casey Liddell, stuff like that, that kind of have these same setups. If your YouTube video or Instagram feed had the tag repo lift in it, I watched it, and I learned from there. So, airbags, that's where we're going with it. Everywhere I learned, airbags was a no-no. Are we still in frame here? Hang on. Now, when you have a truck, you're picking up the load at the back and at the front of the leaf springs, right? That's where your big shackles are and all that. Now, if you put an airbag in the center, the truck wasn't really, I mean, the truck wasn't designed for any of this, but sure wasn't designed to have that load right in the center, especially towing a bunch of weight. It's going to have like a fulcrum point, or you want to call it, and that apparently cracks frames. So I've heard. Again, I'm no expert, and maybe you have this truck with that in there and it's worked out for you. If that's the case, then friggin' right on. Now, there's a few different ways of doing overload springs. There was super springs, sumo springs, adding more leaf packs, a helper setup like this. This is what I went with. It was definitely on the less expensive side. This is a 2,500 pound overload. It had 1,500, 2,500 pound, and 3,500 pound overload. Now, my thinking was I've towed a few things with it. We weren't on the bump stops. It towed fine. I could still steer. The front brakes weren't locking up. It was fine. I mean, was the weight on it? Absolutely. It's a tow truck. And I feel like it just needed just a little bit more. Again, knowing what works for me, this truck I mean, what the wheel lift and the truck and all that's rated for, I probably won't be hauling that. I just actually moved, the Camaro was in here. So we just moved the Camaro with it, which was no interior, no motor, no transmission, had a rear end in it. Maybe the car weighs 2,000 pounds and we lifted up half of it. So we're talking 1,000 pounds. This truck, when it was built, it's a 1-ton truck. People were putting on a 1,500 pound tongue weight hitch on it and just sending her. That's what you're meant to do. Now, obviously, the wheel lift being further back, that weight is amplified. I do understand that. But realistically, we're well within all the specs and all that sort of stuff. And this wheel lift, well, these wheel lifts are designed for trucks just like this. What else do I have to say? Yeah, so we're going to put that on there. I got some wireless lights, see if I can wire those in. I got a wiring diagram to hopefully rewire the pump setup. The way I have it running is wrong, as everybody let me know, but guess what? My first time hooking up a hydraulic system. And I tell you, you let me know that. I have it so it's on full blast as opposed to running off the controller. But you know what? When you buy something on the internet with no instructions in pieces and you just make it work, you make it work. So we accomplished that. Hopefully I can rewire it the correct way. I'll get that taken care of so it only works when I'm switching. That will reduce load on the pump and the battery and the truck and all those sort of things. We'll slap these overloads in. Oh, I also, everybody and their dog let me know, take the bumper off, take the bumper off. This is going to sound as maybe a bit of an excuse. When you're making YouTube videos, unfortunately, sometimes you're under the constraint of time, and yes, I took the bumper off. The bumper is off, the license plate's been relocated, a backup camera has been put on, which is wired to a toggle so I can see everything I'm doing. A lot of great ideas you guys had, and some of them I actually think I had in the video or maybe shortly after that I learned. But that's that. So again, just, you don't know what you don't know. Feel free to give me a hard time on the internet. I deserve it. I put myself out there. But, you know, other people, friends, family, all that sort of stuff, sometimes you got to just realize people, all you guys out there who are experts, unfortunately, you all started off as bumbling fools on your first day, whether you're a plumber, electrician, guitar player, mechanic, installing tow truck rigs. Your first day was hard. Trust me. And I have a lot of first days. And I put them on the internet like an absolute moron. That being said, you watched the ads and ultimately you guys bought these springs for me. So hey, thanks for the happy belated Christmas present. Now let's get on this thing. I might just let it melt for a little bit so it really gets sloppy when I'm putting these springs in there. And we'll see how it goes. I'll try and install it, bring it back, see what it looks like. Okay, so here's the kit. Pretty friggin' simple. We had a couple of issues. I think you want to center this kind of as much as you can. We ended up going a little bit forward for reasons of the clamp ended up kind of getting interference with the caliper, and it just seems like it's where it wanted to be on the spring. You know, this could maybe go back a little bit. If this went back, we run the risk of getting sandwiched in the bottom leaf. So that's that. Now, in the instructions, it says it goes over all the leaves. This one has this El Gianto on the bottom, so we didn't get around that one because it's a little narrow. We got around everything else, so that's good. Now what you do is you can adjust tension by cranking those ones up. So I went kind of halfway. It'll have some tautness on it. We'll match it side to side. Yeah, so I don't really understand. Again, you're just adding more leaves to it. Realistically, it's kind of like adding a leaf pack. So we're putting it on top and it's pretending it's in the middle, or if it's trying to keep it from going flat, we want to be smiley. I don't really know, but in theory, 2 more leaves can't hurt, and I think that's about the right number. Everything is clear of everything. We got it all torqued down, so that should be it. I'm gonna just do a couple quick measurements, but really that's where it's gonna be for now. The truck, again, so the situation is this will add more leaf packs to it, which, you know, good and bad. It's gonna ride a little stiffer, but when it's weighed down, it will, you know, be load level. Now this is not in any way adding more towing capacity or load capacity to the truck. The truck has its GVW and that's the most it can possibly weigh or carry or tow or whatever it may be. This is a load leveling thing. So when we have the car in the back, we're all legitimate for the amount of weight we have on there. Like the truck is all legal. It's just a matter of it's sagging. And again, it's not on the bump stops, so it's okay, but just, you know, put a little bit more leaf spring in it. Now, those Detroit record boys, what they'll do is they'll do something similar. They'll have like a block here with a couple of springs that go up, and then off the frame they'll have like an angle iron, like a piece, like a tab. It'll be, you know, kind of something like that. And obviously as the suspension is compressed, it's going to go up and it'll catch those leaves, which is actually kind of a nice idea because it just runs on the factory leaf springs or factory suspension until it's got weight on it. It gets weight, it goes down a couple inches, and all of a sudden, oh, it starts touching those new leaves, and then they have a lot more load on them. And then obviously loaded on the back, it should ride the same as it would have rode empty or very little. So we're not quite accomplishing that. I mean, I guess we could in theory if we loosen these helper springs, so there's very little tension on them, it'll ride like stock, then we can get under there and kind of crank them up. So it's a bit of a catch-22. It does say it's not supposed to affect anything, so maybe it just put a little bit of tension in. I didn't go crazy. There's a lot more threads left, so we'll get them in there, we'll see how it does, and we can always give them a buzz at the impact and see if it adds a bunch more load or whatever to it. But again, this is more pickup truck than it is tow truck, but while we're at it, I'd like to get this thing all taken care of and be done with it. So yeah, get the other side done right quick, put these wheels and tires back on, and then move on to the wiring, because it's nice and melty now under everything. Okay, so we've got the extra leaf springs in, so we got that all dialed together. I don't know, they're what they are. Now I rewired the setup. So now everyone who told me I was wrong, you can bask in the you were right, and Dan's first time with no instructions didn't work out. But anyway, so now I have it hooked up to a toggle still, but so now the pump only goes when it's being used. Huh? There you go, internet. You win this round. Now,
can we leave it sticking out like that?
Whose side are you on today? It's already a bit of a cranky video, and so what I'm going to do, well, this one didn't open all the way, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld a couple more hooks on. I put these on a while ago. Now, what they have, I hate when you yawn it when you're filming me. This is not the video for it. This deal here, it's got like three little little tiny holes, and they're real tight to get any sort of hook in there. So the idea is obviously you wrap your strap around. So I weld this one on, which is pretty good, but I want to weld one a little bit further so I can have dual hooks. The idea is the strap, you know, the wheels here, the strap goes from behind the wheel up over like at the 12 o'clock position and then down, and we strap it into there. So I'm going to weld a pair of those on real quick. I'm then going to attack the disaster of a wiring job. Went to go use it the other day and the friggin' lights weren't working, so I had plug-in lights. I now have wireless ones, so I got to wire those in properly, but that's just an absolute dog's breakfast, as Merc calls it, so I have to wire up a license plate light. Actually, I didn't do that yet. I bought one. Put that on there, and then we'll wire in the wireless lights. Then it'll be dark, and we'll play with it lifting up and down the car properly. So you back the Camaro back in the garage. Anyways, feel free to let me know how you did your tow truck in the comment section, because I would love to see the video. If you could link it to it too, so I can see it all. That's how I learn, by watching other people and reading the comments. All right, I think it's supper time.
Oh, we can all tell.
Okay, so I came up with another reason as to why a tow truck is good for me. Moving dead cars around. So this thing has no steering, it has no brakes, has no motor, no transmission, no nothing. So to try and move this around garage to garage is a hassle. I did it by myself. So this morning, or this afternoon, I guess after work, I backed the truck up, moved it around, dropped it down, put a block under the tire, and then I backed the truck in and I worked on the truck. Very handy. I don't have the ability to lift it up and move it around like with some big equipment. We could have screwed around with the Bobcat for sure, but it's icy and a pain. That's a 2-person job, or tow rope it and all those things, and then garage winch it in. But this is very handy. You can't do that with a trailer. I did a few things to the wrecker. I got trailer lights wired. I wired up a license plate. The old, you don't know what you don't know. I welded on these hooks, which work good for strapping down, but when you open the arms, they collide. So I have to just kind of cut it off and weld it over a couple of inches. So the arms kind of only open, I don't know, 30% or 40% of the way, not the whole, which whatever is fine for what we're accomplishing, but we should make it work right. I'm just not a big fan of how they have those hooks. We could have a couple of maybe hanging rails or, you know, D-rings or something like that. But that's that. So now I'll show you how quick I'll be able to kind of lift this. Now, it is a rolling car and all that. We have to block the wheels because it'll push back. You need kind of park or someone to hold it, so it's a bit of a hassle. But I think this is way easier to screw around with the trailer. I'm looking for a set of tow truck dollies, because if I have that, I'm set. So let's see if we can get this dialed together right quick. So I'm kind of lined up already. I kind of cheated. Let's put the boom or the wheel lift out. Oh yeah, grease the heck out of this thing. It's mint. Okay, go down. Now I'll open these up and you'll kind of see they kind of smash into each other, not too bad. Go down just till it touches the concrete. You'll feel it in the truck. Okay, now lift it up just a little. Make sure we're all the way out. Yeah, we should be able to back in this thing. I gotta be careful just because it's hard to see here with the tailgate. I don't want to knock it over the block of wood, but it should be okay. Keep going. Okay. Now we can close these. Open these. Still learning. Okay, so that's on. Now, what I'm gonna do is actually suck the truck into the car. A little laziness. Now we'll lift it up. The truck barely friggin' felt it with those new springs. There we have it. So we're basically loaded. Where are my gloves? So now at this point, you could, in theory, move it. I mean, if you want to, it's not gonna bounce off. Those repo guys do it all the time. But I got these straps. And this is why I did it with these hooks. I just put a hook on it like that, over the tire. You got a twist in it. You're not really supposed to have that, but for demonstration, it's fine. That ain't going nowhere. We'll do that to both sides. Obviously, safety chains. The other purchase I made, which is, this can make Danny's life easier because she's light girl. I guess I lifted this thing to the moon for some reason. Drop her down. Don't trip and fall on my stuff. I'm just gonna lower it so we can work a little easier. But check these lights out. Actually, your mom's gift card. I bought these for Christmas.
Nice. Whoa, that's pretty neat.
So, yeah, these are just
Wireless.
deals. And you could change the magnets to, if you want them like that,
Right.
or like that. I don't know what side's what, but.
Whoa, wicked!
And there you go, right? And I think it has brake lights.
Okay, that is pretty cool.
So, and there's a little thing here. I had it in there already, but I'll take it out. So that's all it is. This.
Little wireless receiver.
Yeah. So we'll do that. Shut these girls down. And then shut these things out. What am I doing here? Okay, well maybe, oh, there we go. And it came with a charging, and it actually came with a cigarette lighter deal. So that's pretty slick. So there you already have whatever you got. We'll just unstrap it real quick. Again, you'd have safety chains, but we skipped that. So on the old boom, I was screwing around and hating my life and all sorts of stuff.
Like 15 minutes to load up.
Well, again, I was definitely not the best at it. So now, put it out. Oh, we're on the... You want to move those blocks of wood, actually? To get the other one, too? Good. So you can kind of put it wherever you want. Drop it down. Those new springs in the truck made a big difference. It hardly pulled down the truck. So do that. These. Okay. How does this go now? Down a little bit more. And in. Whoops. Is it caught on something?
Yeah, your left thing isn't in all the way.
Oh, okay. See, I'm still working. In?
You're still learning the button.
Yeah. What can I say? What did I do there? The thing gets jammered on the second thing for some reason. It's got, from sitting, I think it's just a bunch of rust in it, so I'm still kind of playing with it. There we go. Mint. Yeah, so it's stuck on that second ram thing. But we'll have to play with that a little bit. I've had it back and forth across a few times. Or did it go all the way in? Oh, it's all the way in. I'm talking out my ass.
It was stuck the first time.
Oh, was it stuck? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the last time we used it, it was stuck further out, so it's definitely getting worn in.
Well, I took it all the way out, cleaned it. I put a bunch of like graphite spray on and everything. But there you go. So is a tow truck for you? Probably not. You're a trailer person, but I'm a tow truck guy. This is slick. I'm into this whole set for like $2,500 now. The motor, transmission, the junk wheels, the junk headers, the quarter panels I've cut off are all in the bed, so I can take that all to scrap. Well, the car can be moved around very easy. Those springs made a heck of a difference. I want to go take it for a test drive. We'll do that right now. Take it for a test drive around the block. See if it rides like a absolute barn wagon now that's got all that extra suspension in the back. But I'm pretty happy with how it. Danielle has a question?
Did you talk about how great it is that you can just put it on top of the lift now?
No, it's very handy.
Because before we kept having to mess around with all the blocks and stuff because everything was so low, and now
Well,
you
that's
can
another,
back it on.
yet another advantage.
Oh, I mean, realized that.
The rear end's still low, so you may have some issues.
But still.
But typically, it would get caught on exhaust and stuff. You know, again, one further thing, a lot of people are talking about this lifting from the front. So modern cars now are typically front wheel drive, so you would lift it from the front. I'll be lifting from the rear, whatever it may be. We'll have to strap the steering wheel. It's one more step, but ultimately, this thing did great. It towed this with a motor transmission in it. It had glass, no seats. It might be maybe a couple $100 it didn't have in it. It was a full car, and it had spare parts in it. So it towed it no problem. It was like a little heavy, but like I said, steered fine, the brakes were fine, it wasn't on the bump stops. Now I had the car on again, and the motor is in the truck. So ultimately, the same amount of weight is in there, might be distributed a little different, but it's another inch above the bump stops. So I think it's perfect. I'm excited to see how it looks on camera. But there you go. So I think I addressed all the positive comments. People always say why you address the negative comments. I'm not trying to address any negative comments. I actually don't care. I love reading the comments because ultimately there is a lot of good information in the comment section. There's a few negative Nancys, but I always assume the people that are really complaining are jealous of all of this. Or, they just want to be heard. And you know what? If that's a service I can provide, and that guy has a better day for his thing. Oh, I didn't put a cap on, hubcap on that side either, so there you go. But that's about it. Thanks so much for watching and commenting. I am excited to read the comments on this video, and we'll go from there. buy yourself a tow truck if you want one. I mean, if it suits your lifestyle, if you're in the city and you can drag stuff around, there you have it. Again, the tows here now are $200, give or take. You know, $150 to $200 for not very far. That's a bit of a hassle. This saves me having a truck and a trailer to insure, just insuring the truck and I guess whatever vehicle we're towing, so kind of a catch-22 there. And the big thing though is having it right here for me. And now Danielle can drive this on a snowy day. There's no big boom out. It was a hassle to get the truck in the garage with the boom on the back. You had to lower it. Like, I don't know. I'm defending my own choices. I don't know why. Thanks for watching. I'm sure you'll keep watching. And give me lots of attitude in the comment section, because that is what it's for. I'm going to go put this in the truck before I forget. No, I better leave it where it won't get stolen. See you in the next one.